Greetings adventurers, I'm Lauren Gaming and I'll be your guild advisor for this video. And here we are, a new record buster after having been forced to deal with Otter the King from Freya Familia for 8 straight seasons. This also means that my ultimate record buster resource video was only relevant for 1 season. Oh well, I'm sure we'll see Otter again. So, let's greet our new Lord of Punishment, or should I say Queen, the strongest known mage in Riveria, Riveria from Loki Familia. Hopefully, we see a new magic attacker unit for Riveria in lieu of this new record buster. If you're unfamiliar with record buster, this is a game mode in arena that usually lasts 1 week total, where you battle against a boss and try to get the highest score you can. That score is ranked among all the players on your server as well as within your own personal randomized groups, which decides what rewards you receive when the record buster ends. In group rewards, you can see what your placement in your randomized group will give you. You can receive Hero Falna, Buster Medals, and CP gift items. In rank reward, you can see the placements required for the different reward tiers of Iris. Remember that you gain more points by increasing the difficulty of the encounter up to a max level 5. Remember, this increases the amount of damage the boss will deal. If you're new to Record Buster, I recommend starting at level 2, seeing how you fare, and then adjust the difficulty accordingly after that. The fight will last 15 turns max, and the longer you last, the higher your score multiplier will be. But enough about the numbers, let's go over the fights against the new boss, Amaterasu Flame Fairy Riveria. Riveria sports a fancy new cloak and staff to deal fiery punishment to adventurers who are unprepared. For this version of Riveria, she has a 50% weakness to water attacks. How convenient! The current Midsummer Gacha is filled with water characters. Probably a coincidence. With regards to magic and physical attacks, she has no weakness or resistance, so bring your strongest physical or magic team. If you have the new water characters, depending on your limit breaks, you'll want to utilize them for the bonus damage. Also, Riveria's attacks are all fire magic, so these new characters with fire resistance will serve you well when trying to last to turn 15. Let's go over her attacks, and forgive me for the butchering of her skill names. The first move you'll see her cast is Sublimazione Calore. This puts a 30% fire resistance debuff on your party for 4 turns. Note that on the turn you're able to check the debuff, it'll say 3 turns because I'm counting the turn you received the debuff. The first of her damaging attacks is Protuberanza Solare, an AoE fire attack. Warning that you cast this 2 times turn 1. She can also use Temperatura Sopra, an AoE fire magic attack that can inflict slow to your party. Another one of Riveria's moves is Foschia Secca, an AoE fire attack that can inflict sleep. I definitely pack sleep resistance for this encounter. She can also use Sublimazione Fiamma, a single target strong fire attack. She only uses this on turn 15 2 times. Her final battle skill is Ignizione Falo. This buffs her magic by 30% for 4 turns. Remember that there are adventurers that can remove this buff. Between her fire resistance debuff and magic buff, prepare for some punishment, young adventurer. This all culminates for the start of turns 5, 9, and 13, where she will use a special fire attack that deals a great amount of damage. If you are taking this move without debuffing her magic or increasing her magic resistance in any way, it's going to hurt. The specials on turns 5 and 9 remove your party's current buffs. Turn 13 special hits harder than the previous 2. As far as I can tell, the order of the moves Riveria uses throughout the 15 turns is the same, and I'll do my best to lay out her move usage in the video description. But for now, let's go over some adventures you may want to use. It shouldn't have to be said more than once, but the current Midsummer characters are great for this record buster. They all use water element moves, which the current Riveria is weak against. Furthermore, they all sport fire resistance, so Riveria does less damage against them. 2 standouts among the new characters are Offshore Elf Lafia and Summer Fun Lily. Lafia has a self 75% magic buff and strong single target water attacks. Lily is able to remove Riveria's magic buffs, lower magic resistance, and increase the duration of your debuffs applied to the enemy. If you have a lot of the water characters, also consider the new Beach Saint Amid for your healer, as she reduces enemy water resistance and increases your water attack damage, along with the regular healing duties. But let's move on to some useful adventures outside of the new Midsummer units. 4 physical attackers, Brave Swordsman Finn, Honor Secession Belle, and Honor Princess Eyes remain as standouts. Even though Honor Princess Eyes' strength debuff has no use here, her self-strength buff and physical resistance debuff skill keep her persistently relevant in Record Buster. Magic attacker wise, there's Elf's Honor Lafia, Elven Awakening Lafia, and Lovely Travel Lily as the standouts for high single target damage. Now, let's get into the characters that will greatly reduce the amount of damage you'll take from Riveria. The one big standout for this magic damage record buster is Medicinal Archer Naza. She is pretty much the anti-magic character. She has a 30% magic debuff and a 30% magic resistance buff for your party. She can also heal herself for a good amount with her Buster Arrow skill on the turns you don't need to apply either debuff or buff. If you have this Naza, you should most definitely include her in your party. For those that don't have Naza to reduce enemy magic, 4-star Kino, Onsen Princess Osvi, and Gale Disguise Ryu all have skills that can also debuff enemy magic. I mentioned before that there are certain characters that can remove magic buffs from enemies. These units are the new Summer Fun Lily, Iron Warrior Subuki, and Dancing Blessing Tiona. Note that Tiona also has a magic resistance buff. Using the characters I previously mentioned are great ways of reducing Riveria's damage. Now for healers. As I always mention, Almighty Fighter Osvi is one of the best healers in the game, being able to reduce damage from all attacks by 30% with her Vanishing Shroud skill. Plus, her heal also increases your counter rate, giving your characters extra attacks on the boss, increasing your total score little by little. Temptation's Lily from the previous summer banner does have some use here if you lack magic resistance, since she sports a 20% buff that lasts 4 turns. If you're using a physical team, you can use Fushikaden Chigusa, who can buff your party's strength by 35%. Just remember that this buff will not stack with other adventurous strength buffs like Finn's. On the other side, there's Gale Ryu for magic teams who can buff your magic and agility by 30%. I still think Photo is pretty decent despite the fact that pairing your Filmic Goddess Hestia for this record buster is hurting your assist layout a bit, since Riveria is not affected by Hestia's physical resistance. Since my Photo is +4 though, I'm partial to using her. I just had to reset my runs a bit to get those delicious guards off. Now for the assist. First and foremost, for this week, you'll want to use either Beautiful Admirer Freya or Fearless Smile Hermes for sleep resistance. When they are +5, you'll have a 100% resistance. Freya is better since besides being a 4-star with higher stats, she comes with an endurance debuff, enabling you to inflict more damage. I should mention Summer Break Misha for slow resistance, but again, I don't think it's necessary. However, if you do find that you are dying before you can heal your damage off because you get slowed, you can consider experimenting with Misha. And when I say experiment, please do not have lewd thoughts of this bubbly guild employee. Now then, remember that for physical teams, you'll want to use either T or part-time Hestia to increase your strength, and either Detective Anya or Legendary Artisan Hephaestus to decrease enemy physical resistance. For magic teams, this changes to Banquet Queen Freya to increase magic and agility, and either Banquet Attire Hermes or Trickster Loki to lower enemy magic resistance. If using water characters, you can try using the new Midsummer Maiden Aina that lowers water resistance. Assists that can lower various damage are Banquet Dress Loki for magic resistance and either Onsen Samurai Mikito or Summer Mischief Seer to lower enemy magic. You can also consider Pure White Dress Seer for endurance if you don't have access to the previous characters. If you find that throughout your runs of Record Buster that Riveria is guarding your attacks a lot, you can try changing up your assist lineup by using Scholar Aina and reduce Riveria's chance to guard. Also, if you have Minstrel Elf Aina, you can put her on a backline character so that unit gets a free attack nullification when they come in. This is especially useful for prolonging your survival if your characters tend to die after turn 12. As always, the HP regen assist, Naza, Miak, Amid, and Bunny Hestia remain useful if you find that you're not healing enough, or if you need to be topped off before Riveria's special attacks. Armor-wise, your best option is to make flame coats from crafting and pray that RNG is on your side so they come out with fire resistance. This will help out immensely with reducing Riveria's damage. If you're still playing the guard game with Photo like I am, you'll be equipping your party with breastplates with guard rate on them. Remember that it is usually better to save your specials and use them all at once towards the end of the Record Buster attempt. Since a comboed special deals more damage, I tend to use mine on turn 12. If you are still unaware of this tactic, you can actually put assist like Onsen Mikito onto a weak character in the front of your party and have them die turn 1, so you get the benefit from the debuff that is now on Riveria while having access to another assist character. In my particular case, this allows me to have an assist lineup of T, Ceremonial Flame Hestia, HP Regen Hestia, and Sleep Resist Freya, while being able to take advantage of the debuffs that Onsen Mikito and Detective Anya provided with my sacrificial characters. Remember that if you use this tactic, you'll want to place your Sleep Resist Freya in the backmost slot, so the Sleep Resist applies to all your characters. Assist skills are activated as soon as the Adventurer they are equipped to enters the field, so if your Sleep Resist Freya is in the front, characters coming in from the backline will not receive this buff. And for your final tip, make sure to finish at least one run of Record Buster every day for the 10 Iris reward. You get 5 free tries a day before you have to spend Iris, But remember, you can actually close your game during Record Buster and restart the app to restart from the beginning of the fight. You cannot change your party while doing this, so this is only useful if you got hit by an unlucky crit, or if you're fishing for a guard on the special. And that concludes my guide for this week's Record Buster, featuring the brand new boss, the beautiful but stern elf, Riveria. It is my hope that in future Record Busters, Riveria will get her element changed. Otherwise, it's looking like these midsummer characters are going to be very tempting to roll for, since they have natural fire resistance. One can hope. Take it easy, adventurers, and don't let Riveria punish you too hard. Or maybe you actually like that. I won't judge. If you found this video helpful or informative, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel for more content. To stay updated on what I'm doing, follow me on Twitter and join my Discord for any questions and discussion. Continue enjoying your time adventuring in Aurario and the dungeon. This is Lauren Gaming, and I'm signing out.